It was raining harder than anyone expected that night. The kind of rain that blurs the city lights and makes every sound feel distant, almost lonely. Michael was driving home from work, his tired eyes struggling to stay open. It had been another long day at the auto shop, fixing other people's broken cars, while his own life felt quietly broken in ways no one could see. He was divorced, living alone in a small apartment, and had spent the last 5 years wondering where it all went wrong. His ex-wife, Emily, had moved away, taking their daughter with her when she was just 5. He hadn't seen her since. Not a call, not a letter, just silence. And somewhere deep down, he always blamed himself for being too focused on work, for not fighting harder to stay in her life. As Michael turned onto his quiet street, his headlights caught something unusual. A small figure sitting on the sidewalk, knees to her chest, completely soaked. At first, he thought it might be someone waiting for a ride, but when his lights hit her face, he saw she was just a teenage girl, maybe 15 or 16, crying quietly under the street lamp. He slowed down, rolled down the window, and called out, "Hey, you okay?" No answer, just more tears, her shoulders shaking. Michael parked the truck and stepped out, pulling his jacket tighter against the rain. As he got closer, he noticed her hands trembling. She looked scared, not just sad, but truly scared. "Hey, it's okay," he said softly. "I'm not going to hurt you. You need help?" The girl finally looked up. Her eyes were red, mascara running down her cheeks, and for a moment, Michael froze. There was something familiar in her eyes, something he couldn't explain, but he shook it off. She sniffled. I don't have anywhere to go." Her voice cracked, and Michael felt his chest tighten. "Okay," he said calmly. There's a diner a few blocks away. Let's get you something warm to eat, yeah?" She hesitated, then nodded slowly. Michael offered his jacket, she was shivering, and walked her to the truck. As they drove, silence filled the space between them, except for the hum of the wipers. After a few minutes, he said, "What's your name?" "Lily," she whispered. It hit him, that name. His daughter's name was Lily, too. He smiled faintly. "That's a beautiful name." She shrugged. "My mom picked it." "I never met my dad." Michael's grip on the steering wheel tightened. It's something about her quiet pain felt like déjà vu. But he didn't say anything. When they reached the diner, the warmth hit them instantly. He ordered hot chocolate and pancakes for her, black coffee for himself. For the first time, she smiled barely, but it was there. They talked. Slowly, piece by piece, her story came out. She'd run away from a foster home. Her mom had passed away 2 years ago, and she never knew her father. "I just couldn't stay there anymore," she said softly. "They treated me like I was a burden." Michael felt his throat tighten. "You're not a burden, kid. No one deserves to feel that way." Something in his voice made her look up. "You sound like someone who lost something too." He gave a half smile. "Yeah, maybe I did." As she ate, he couldn't help but notice small things, the way she held her fork with her left hand, just like he did. The tiny scar on her chin, in the same spot his daughter had gotten one as a toddler. His heart began to race. Could it be? It's impossible. After they finished, he offered to take her somewhere safe. "There's a shelter downtown," he said. "They'll take care of you." But Lily shook her head. "I don't want to go back. Please, I'll just sleep on the street if I have to." He sighed. He couldn't leave her out there. "Kay, you can crash on my couch tonight, just until tomorrow. But only if you're comfortable with that." She hesitated, then nodded. "Thank you for being kind." Back at his small apartment, Michael gave her a towel, dry clothes, and an old hoodie. She looked so small, sitting on his couch, clutching a mug of tea. "Your mom," he said quietly. "What was her name?" She looked up. "Emily. Emily Hayes." Michael froze. The world seemed to stop spinning. His breath caught in his chest, his hands trembling. "Did you say Emily Hayes?" She nodded slowly. "Yeah, you knew her." He couldn't speak. His eyes began to fill with tears he hadn't cried in years. I was married to her," he said finally, his voice barely a whisper. Lily stared at him, confused. "What?" He reached into his wallet, pulled out an old faded photo of a young Emily holding a baby girl. This This was your mom, and that's you." Lily's hand flew to her mouth. Her eyes widened in disbelief. No, that can't be." Michael nodded, tears now streaming down his face. "Lily, I'm your father." For a long moment, neither spoke. The only sound was the rain tapping softly against the window. Then Lily began to cry harder this time, but different, the kind of cry that comes from somewhere deep inside. Michael walked over, slowly, afraid she might push him away. But she didn't. She stood up and threw her arms around him, and he held her tight like he'd been waiting his whole life for this moment. "I thought you didn't want me," she sobbed. He shook his head, choking back tears. "I never stopped looking, sweetheart. Your mom moved away, and I couldn't find you. I tried everything. They stayed like that for what felt like forever. Father and daughter reunited by pure chance. Or maybe fate." Later that night, Lily fell asleep on the couch, wrapped in a blanket. Michael sat across from her, watching her breathe softly, the same way he used to when she was a baby. He whispered, "I lost you once, but I promise never again." The next morning, the sun broke through the clouds. The storm had passed. Lily woke up, rubbing her eyes, and saw Michael cooking breakfast. She smiled, shyly, but with warmth. "Good morning," he said gently. She laughed. "You cook? Only for special people?" They shared breakfast like a real family for the first time in over a decade. Over the next few days, they talked endlessly. She told him about her life, the foster homes, the loneliness, the pain. He listened to every word, and she listened to him. How he blamed himself, how he'd kept her baby picture on his nightstand for all those years. For the first time in a long time, both of them felt whole again. 1 week later, they went to the park, the same park where Michael used to take her as a baby. They sat under a tree, and Lily rested her head on his shoulder. "Do you believe in fate?" she asked softly. He smiled. "I didn't until I found you again." She squeezed his hand. "No, Dad, you didn't find me. Kindness did." Michael laughed through his tears. "Then I'll never stop being kind." And from that day on, he didn't. They moved into a small house together. Michael fixed cars by day, and at night they'd cook dinner and watch old movies. Lily went back to school, and every Sunday they'd go to that same diner, their story now part of that place. People often talk about miracles like they're rare, but sometimes miracles come dressed as simple moments of kindness. A stranger helping a crying girl. It's a girl who turned out to be family. Years later, when Lily shared their story online, it touched millions. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was real. She ended her post with the same words her father once said to her: "Never underestimate the power of kindness. It might just lead you back to the people you love." Thank you so much for watching. If this story moved you, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing for more videos that remind us of the good in the world. Till next time, take care.